So, with the conclusion of Oculus's little press conference that just went on, I thought I'd give you my quick reactions. First off, I found those little controllers, the was it Oculus Touch that looks like the PlayStation Move sub-controller. I mean, yeah, that's a double-edged sword, much like everything else they showed. One, it fixes the problem of what that Xbox One controller doesn't fix, is it takes you out of the experience because while you're fully engrossed visually and maybe, depending on quality, of the audio portion of the experience, you're still holding a piece of plastic. At least here you can do the traditional controls but with your arms moving about. That may keep you more in the experience. The issue there is, in order to get a lot of experiences that are worth having, developers need to know that there are enough people here that it's more than just a fringe, which relies on two things, neither of which were addressed. One, who's going to own this? What's the price point? We have these two controllers that you can buy, but it comes with that $60 Xbox One controller in the box with the headset that requires a beefy-ass PC. What's the market there? I would like to know if Facebook understands hardware enough to subsidize the price, bring it down to a point where there will be some form of market adoption that is meaningful to developers making decisions on platform adoption. With that being said, the other issue is even the thing that makes it more natural inside this virtual reality, those two touch controllers. The issue they're going to have in making more people adopt this than just the extreme fringe that is the intersection of hardcore gamers and people that can afford it both on the PC end and the hardware itself and want that experience. Also, they don't get motion sickness easily. That intersection is what you're looking at, and it won't be much outside of that because unlike the Wii, which made that motion controls easy to do, because people do get freaked out by a gamepad. As gamers, we don't recognize that, but those buttons and those thumbsticks don't click for the vast majority of people. That's why the bowling, by just doing a bowling motion, worked wonderfully, both practically and as a commercial product. We're at a point where, both price and interface-wise, we don't really have any clue like what the adoption can possibly be. And until they answer those questions, my enjoyment of VR, although I've tried it, eValkyrie was fun, my enjoyment will be theoretical until I know how many kidneys do I need to sell to buy one. I mean, I have a PC that can run it. Barely, but I can run it. It costs a lot of money to build, but it works. I'm in the extreme minority there. The other thing that was, I don't want to say concerning, was their pitch about games that they have on it. First, they showed a few third-person games. I'd be interested to see how those feel, because the camera will be sort of like an out-of-body experience, because you're in VR but you're behind the person. Like, that can work from isometric perspective, looking down, sort of a role-playing thing, because you're kind of, I don't know, like an omnipotent, like dungeon master type thing. But if it's pulled back behind, that creates this out-of-body experience where you still have to control the direct movements of someone through either the gamepad or the touch controllers. And that could be a weird experience. But the more important thing is, they very generically said there's $10 million of Facebook's billions, we should say, that is going to independent development, which I would assume other developers, even other publishers that have vested stakes in the virtual reality games, such as Sony, who have existing relationships courting indies, as well as probably have a lot bigger fund than $10 million to get indies there. That was a little red flag to me. Like, $10 million sounds nice, but like, when you're getting like $4.25 million for a 2.5D Castlevania type game for Bloodstained, that $10 million can evaporate quickly, as we saw with what all that money Double Fine got, like what that meant, how little that carried them to the finish line. And the last little thing is they showed that screen of developers. Now, several of them, great, high voltage, wonderful developer, all that, terrific. They're just throwing up their Glue Mobile. Like, great. Thank you. I can't wait to play, like, mobile's in their name. I don't, like, that makes sense for that Samsung Gear VR headset. I don't know why they're up there. Are they transitioning into being an iPhone / iPad / virtual reality developer? These are sort of questions that, at the end of it, I was like, there's a lot of stuff to be excited about here. There's some like cool ideas off in the distance, but as far as the practical realities of what they showed, there are a lot of questions hidden behind smoke and mirrors. Same thing goes for every VR headset. Like, I want to know price, I want to know adoption, and I want to know like software execution level. Like, those are three big questions that need to be answered before I get excited. But maybe I'm being too cynical. Although I've sat by and watched a lot of cool hardware launch and no one care because it was too expensive or there wasn't that game that immediately got them, whatever the case may be. I'd like to know what you think about the Rift's promises in Oculus / Morpheus / Vive as a whole. Let me know in the comment section below.